Okay. Hey, good morning. We continue our training session. This today we'll do the module 7 and module 8. So processing data and then finally writing the thesis and paper. As as now, I think we already cover introduction. I mean the research actually need a research problem, right? The most important part of the research, some will say is a method, some will say are other thing, but for me, I think it's a issue, the research problem. Because you have a problem, then only you going to initiate the research. Just like you don't simply call 999 and then come in here say, I don't know, I just want to test my phone. Then you have an issue, an emergency, you only call 999. So when you have a good research problem, then everything will be much smooth, right? So you identify the issue, right? Usually the issue, my practice will try to see the latest issue on your field. For me, it's in economics, but then I see some of the participants here are from nursing, engineering, chemistry, business, finance, anything, everything, right? Language. So even though in language you can see what is the current problem, but in economics you see the most problem you'll see my article mostly nowadays sustainable development goal, right? But sustainable development goal will soon to be outdated lah. So now we have this called artificial intelligence, fourth industrial revolution, right? Last time you have this metaverse, and of course after COVID, for those business, right, you will have those e-wallet, right? Everything now e-invoicing. Previously also you have Belt and Road. So you have all this type of thing. Political side also you may have geopolitical tension. Now, but of course in this case you have to be careful of it because some sensitive issue. If you want to do your survey, you need to get the ethical clearance, right? Then writing literature review, right? Writing literature review, I would suggest that you use a table. I already give you a sample of article. You read the article. How do you search the article? You just search a keyword and then you copy the title as your file name. Is easier to find. Of course, if you want to write a paper strictly on literature review only, then there'll be a different procedure. You'll be more tedious, right? You have to use a Prisma method, all this method one by one. You have to let the audience or the reader know you search already what keyword, how many journal articles you have found, right? What is the exclusion and inclusion search factor? If you literature review is just part of your empirical paper, then you try to do theoretical research, empirical research, and then research gap. Of course, you have introduction and conclusion. Okay. Then in terms of methodology, right? Most of the methodology here are a lot of formula, right? Later on we'll see analyzing the data, what method you should use, right? So method you keep aside first until now, right? Because we depend on what method you use, depend on the nature of your data, depend on the nature of your research, right? If your research is to see the perception or the acceptance of e-wallet in Malaysia, so in this case, you don't have secondary data, you only have primary data, so you have no choice to use primary data. If you want to study a determinant of foreign direct investment, right? You use macroeconomic factor, right? Then in this case, you can get a secondary data, and I don't think primary data will be suitable. Right? So depend on your data, you choose your method. Just like you want to go to somewhere else, you got a lot of mode of transport. You can use car, motorbike, bicycle, cycling, taxi, grab car, aeroplane. So you choose which mode of transport will depend on whether you want to travel there fast, got traffic jam or not, and then the nature of the research and nature of the data. Okay? Now we continue to processing the data, right? So this model focus on data processing analysis, because when you get the data, either in primary or secondary data, you cannot use it as is it. Right? You need to at least arrange the things. You need to arrange it, yeah, and process it. Right? He cover process. So therefore, this model cover processing data, display the data and finding, regression analysis, and multivariate analysis, right? Okay, we start with processing the data. Okay, raw data, when we download it for secondary data, or we survey question, usually as mentioned, now we usually use Google form, and then we don't do much survey on the physical form. If let's say you do survey on the physical form, you print it out on the paper, and then you let the respondent to fill up one by one, then you have to key in back on your Excel, or you key in back one by one. So that one would be more tedious. Then in this case, you might need a research grant and have a RA to help you key in. But if you use Google form, after everything done, you can just download and extract the result. Last training session, I will show you how many respondents. You just click and then you just download, and then everything you have. But whatever you have, you need to arrange it. Okay. Step in processing data. Right. Later we have an appendix here. We go to this screen, so later only go to another screen. Then data editing for clarity. So why we need to edit the data? Right? Because one of the direct first answer will be, if you download secondary data or you extract the data from your Google Form survey, primary data, it cannot fit into any of the software. Let's say secondary data, you download from World Bank, right? When you download, you cannot take the data exactly export or export to data or email, right? Data and you, they have their own formatting to do. So you have to arrange according to row and column. You get a survey primary data, Google form, you download data, you cannot put into the partial list, smart PLS, you also cannot use. So you have to fit to the software, right? Then, of course, when you download data, I show you the example. Download from either secondary data or primary data, especially secondary data. You notice a lot of missing data. You may want to download all country, right? Maybe not all you remember or not, you got a series, what variable you need, you put in the series, say your GDP, FDI, export, import. So you download everything. Then usually if you do panel data, that means you do many country and many year, you click what country you want to choose, you click all. Right? When you click all, you notice many country, maybe half of it you need to delete because don't have enough data. Right? Or you choose some variable, for example, let's say FDI or other, let's say productivity or whatever, some variable they have a lot of missing data for some country. So you have to delete, or maybe some variable got one missing data. As I mentioned before, if let's say you do from 1990 to 2023, let's say 2000 missing, 1 year only missing, then it's okay. You just take the before 1 year and after 1 year, or before 2 years and after 2 years, plus and then average it out. Right? But of course, you need to mention in your methodology that there's one missing data for what country or for what variable. So how you solve it is you use the averaging of 2 years before and after to get back the data. Otherwise, you have to delete. But if you have a lot of missing data, then you have no choice. Okay? And of course, easy transfer to the software and then detect outlier. Right? Sometimes got certain like, for example, you choose a country, right? Let's say you choose Southeast Asia. Sometimes this one is also a problem, a common problem. You choose Southeast Asia, right? You have Malaysia, Thailand, Philippines, Singapore. Then usually Singapore will be the odd one out because Singapore is the only very developed country. So you notice everything for them is very good, very high, right? Or sometimes you choose China. So they all are very high or very extremely data. So in this case, you have to either delete the country or up to you lah. But sometimes also got some year you notice that maybe there's an error in correcting the data. There are an outlier. For survey questionnaire is more obvious, right? You even though you send out survey either physical or digital, there might be some respondent who, just layan only lah, just do only lah. I put all five. Let's say 1 to 5. I put everything five. Click send. Okay, bye. Don't want to see already, right? Because my friend asked me to do, so no choice. Just everything, just put 5, or everything put 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Then delete. So sometimes you notice outlier like this, right? Then you delete it lah. Okay? Incorrect answer or missing data, right? Then you categorize it into meaningful group. Okay. So also then we see the, we share another one. I share the appendix. Okay, this appendix you can get it from the folder, right? You still have the folder link, right? If you don't have the folder link, you go to my website www.hawaiiman.com. You click the training, then inside there, all the material will be inside there, right? But sometimes my website down, I don't know why lah. Okay? So step in data processing, right? You have some formal step, but usually don't need to be such formal step lah. When you collect the data, you try to edit lor, right? Which country that don't have, later I show you the exact sample, right? Which country that don't have data, no choice, then you have to delete. To your surprise, if you download all the country, maybe half of the country you need to throw away, right? You only remaining half, right? Then, for example, maybe sometimes got one variable that you like to use. For example, let's say variable B, right? But this variable B, most of the countries don't have. Then you have to make a choice. Whether you want to delete the country that don't have data for this variable B, right? Or you delete the variable B to maintain higher number of country. So your choice lah. Right? For me, I will usually, if this is the case, then I'll delete the variable B so that I still can maintain more country. Right? Maybe I replace with another variable unless that variable B is a very important variable that cannot be deleted. Then for primary data, you need to do coding. Later, I will show you also the coding example. After done everything, then you input it into the software. Secondary data, you can use eView or Stata. Primary data, you can use SPSS or Smart PLS, right? So do like that. Then all this, then of course, how you present, right? Displaying data. This one is the different one. So we do until here first. Okay. So far so good. I show you the data. Okay. Share. So far, any question? You can see my screen, right? So I show you the. Can you see the? Can you see the Excel file?
Yes.
Okay, good. You see, last training I show you already. Go to the World Bank, right? The link to find the data is all here. For secondary data, most of the secondary data that you need can be found here lah, right? Unless there's a special needs, right? Sometimes, but in this case, I don't really recommend that you go and buy a data using a lot of expensive money because most of them are free. So last week we done how to get the data from either one World Bank, right? So after you download the data from World Bank, it will be like this, right? Here I choose 2001 first, and then country. Usually country, if you do panel data, you click all. You take whatever they have, right? So you see dash, 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 right? So you see dash, 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 that means cannot. So Afghanistan, all zero, therefore you have to delete. You highlight this one, you delete, right? Then you see this also got don't have, don't have. So cannot. Right? You have to delete also, right? Unless that maybe just 1 year only don't have, then you can take the last 2 years and front 2 years, and then plus you get the average. Okay, if let's say this one also have, this one also have, right? So like that. So in this case, Albania also have to delete, right? So you see, many have to delete, many no, Afghanistan have to delete, Albania also delete, Algeria also have to delete. You see, many of them have to delete. Maybe Argentina no need, because you see, quite nice. Except for 1 year, right? What year it is? 2015. That's what we say here. Like in this case, right? You have to do the average. You take the last 2 years. Usually I'll take 2 years lah, because 1 year maybe got more error. So you add these two, you add this 4, and then you divide, and then you fill up the blank here. Okay. Of course, there are more formal methods to complete the missing data, but usually I just use the simple one. Take the last 2 years and before and after, and then you get the average input here. Okay. So like that. Now you see 2019, because this one is quite old data, right? Of course, you try to get the most current as possible lah. Let's say this one, most of them don't have, correct? Almost all don't have. So therefore, it's better to delete the year lah. To delete this whole year, delete. Okay, delete whole year. You don't need it. So it's better to like that. Okay, delete. So your data will only up to 2018. If let's say the 2019 is the latest one, but don't have. Okay, then you notice that. Then you see, so many countries, Aruba also don't have to delete. This one also a lot of missing data, no choice you have to delete. That's why I told you sometimes you have to delete more than half of it. So after you delete everything, you need left is Armenia, Austria, Belgium, all are quite complete. Okay? Not only like that, you see that you see that you can get this one more. Eh? No. Where? Why cannot? Why this one? Oh, there are some hidden years. So you see here, I get from World Bank only, like let's say Angola income share Gini coefficient, right? Notice here is much more. So you should have you need to sometimes not only get from World Bank, get from other thing or other source, then you combine, like WGI, right? All this one you combine that get from IMF, you get everything, then you combine here. Notice the difference or not? Here, the year is like that, correct? Straight. But when that's why you have to modify. You edit your data. Your year is like that, right? So of course we can do is you transpose the data. So let's say like that, right? Copy. You put another new one, You put transpose. Okay, you get like that. So okay, then your year, let's say, for example, year will not go for horizontal, we'll go for vertical. So you do like that. Okay. No. Transpose this one. Okay. Then all this bracket one, the software cannot run. So you have to delete, but you don't need to delete everything lah. Then three already, because it's in running order. Then you can just scroll down and then it'll give you in running order. Okay. You want to make it nicer also can. Okay. Then you arrange everything. You get something like that, including all others. This one is from all others sources, right? This one is from another sources, all these things. Okay. One thing is this code, you don't need to do this code. You use if you do Stata, you later next section we teach you Stata. You use Stata to do this code, because last time I don't know, so I had to put 1 2 3 4. It will take a lot of time, maybe got some mistake also, right? So this code, then later on I know that Stata actually can do this code, right? When you do more, then you know more, and then you know that the software actually can help you a lot. So you arrange accordingly like that. In Stata and eView format, you do the country, you stack them, let's say Armenia, right? Austria, you stack them one by one. Let's say give different color lah, Belarus, you stack them like that. Okay. We do an example. Okay, Belgium, we do for example. Okay. Any color you like. Then the year for Armenia, 2010 to 2017. You see 2010 to 2017, 2010 to 2017. So you stack them like that. Just like you have your Bahasa book, then mathematics book, you stack all the mathematics book for all the year, and then for the English book for year 1, year 2, year 3, 4, 5, 6, year 7, and then science book year 1, year 2, year 3, year 7, and then economics book year 1, year 2, year 3, year 7. So you stack like that, right? Okay, just that the code you don't need to do, because you use a Stata, you can generate the code for you. Very nice one, right? No need to be manually. So all this one you have to manually edit and transpose. Okay, can understand? right? Otherwise, you use data like this, even though you delete already those missing data, you cannot enter into the startup software. Okay, so far so good. Okay, can the number here so big, you just never mind because just enter, you'll be okay. Okay, can. How about primary data? This from one of my research, right? My friend, I just deleted the thing. I just changed with some other thing like. Right? So you'll get, you not only get like that. If your question is A1, right? What is your name? What is your address? Where do you stay? Right? You have a very quite long like A1 dot. What is your name? Right? A2 dot. How old are you? A3 dot. How do you do? Right? So you have a short, longer number. I just put A1, A2, That's why when we do the questionnaire, right? If you have factor A and you have 5 questions for factor A, don't put question 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then factor B 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. No, don't do continuous. You do only continuous by factor, say B, A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, B1, B2, B3, B4, B5. In this case, it's very easy to see this B is for factor B, C is for factor C, D is for factor D, right? So you get all this one. Of course, as I told you, you have, let's say like that. But if your question is like that, A1 dot, what is your name? Then you'll come out like that. You'll come out like that, right? So you have to manually delete it. It's okay. You can expect that you need some time to do it, right? Right? You give all the thing like that. Then better for you to have a coding, right? Otherwise, if you do it in a teamwork, your friend or your teammate will know, or after some time also will don't know. So wherever vector A, right? So factor A, the description, maybe you put a short form because you don't write so long, because this CA, let's say I put a short form for factor A as CA, or you want to put factor A, right? Yeah, CA. Otherwise, you put so long, perception regarding this, right? Then when you run the partial least square, your smart PLS, you have too many words there, you block everything, right? You cannot see anything, so you just put a short form, maybe description regarding the power of Captain America. So we put that. Then this one is a question. Then how are you? Where do you live? Where do you get the power? Are you okay? So all the question you put here, right? So same for factor B, factor C, factor D, right? Or you have the coding like that. Demographic also, age under this one. Then you give a value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But one question only in this case, what is your age? What's your gender? Male or female? Again, reminder, if you are in Malaysia, your gender can only have male and female, cannot have others. Unless you want to put another one, do not wish to disclose. But got one problem. It's okay, don't know which will be. So you have 1, 2, 3, right? University type. Sometimes primary data got this problem. Like if university type, it's okay. If let's say education level, you say secondary school, primary school, then you can put 1, 2, 3. Then in this case, it's a ranking. So we automatically assume that primary school, let's say, is 0, is 1. Secondary school is 2. So 2 is better than 1. Then tertiary education is 3, degree. Then master is 4, PhD is 5. But if you have a professional cert, ACCA, right, and other professional engineering, the training cert or whatever, then you don't know whether it's fit where, right? CFA, so CFA is higher than degree or higher than master or what, right? So there's a problem here. So that's why the ranking sometimes got problem. But usually, unless you do not wish to use this one as one of your variable, then it's okay lah. So you also have all these questions. So you need to do some coding, right? So if you have, when you download the data, you have also timestamp and then username, right? This one is already cleaned up a bit. They just put in respondent one, right? So all this, usually we don't put the username for privacy. So we put respondent 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. So these are some of the data you need to clean up and then edit according to the format that your software can accept. I do not know how to use all the software. Maybe there are other software they need you to arrange the data in their different set. Then you have to do it in a different set. Okay. Yeah. Then you need to display your data and distribution, common type of presentation, right? Especially for the primary data research. Right? you need to table or respondent distribution, how many male, how many female, how many ethnic group from education or whatever, right? You can do it in a table form or percentage form, right? Then, of course, some of the common type of presentation. Oh, I share you also this one. Maybe I share the screen now, so you can see. Okay. Yeah. Of course, common type of presentation, we can use frequency distribution table, right? Cross tabulation, to be more complex. Cross tabulation, you use SPSS do is you just input, then they will come out very nicely. Whatever cross tabulation you want also can. Let's say gender and education, this question one and question two, all these things, right? Center tendency table. So if you are good at statistics, you know that mode, medium, mean, right? Distribution table, all this you can do in uh, uh, SPSS will give you a lot of nice thing. If you use secondary data and you use data, you can just type the comment summary, then they come up everything, right? In a whole long list table, then you choose, you choose which one you want. Let's say you don't want both, you just want median and mean, you just want maximum and minimum value. So you just choose, right? Maybe next week, next section we'll do that one. Yeah. Dispersion table, right? Highest, lowest, right? Remember, if you want to do a table, you try not to do so many table, right? For example, mode, medium, mean, standard deviation, range, variance, higher. This one all you can combine into one table, right? Don't have one table for mean, one table for median, and then another table for range, another table for variance, right? So too many table. Now, if you can combine, you combine into one table, right? Then type of presentation, histogram, all the graph, cumulative table, many software can do, or otherwise you can use Excel also you can do. Okay, so there are type of presentation. When you do your literature review, right, you download the relevant article that the article or journal article that relevant to your research topic, then you can see that how they do the table, right? And also very important is you follow the format of the institution. If you are master or PhD or even degree student, you follow your university standard of how do you do the table, display the graph. If you want to submit to a journal, right? Of course, sometimes you no choice. You try to get the unless you already target or this journal I want to submit, right? Then you can straight away follow the format. Otherwise, after you've done everything, your draft, your manuscript fully done already, you only choose your journal. Let's say you choose this journal ABC. Then you go to the journal ABC there, you follow their format. Sometimes they give you a template also, right? They want how you arrange a table. Some table cannot have horizontal line. Some are vertical line, they only have horizontal line. Some they ask you to the table 1 to 1.1 have to put on top, or some table 1.1 have put below, italic or whatever. So you have to follow the journal or the university, right? Right? Some they don't allow you to have so many histogram, all these thing, this table they not need, that one they don't need, right? So it depends on the institution, because you want to present, you want to send your article there, so you have to follow their style. You want to graduate from this university or that university, you have to follow the university style. Okay. Now, next will be regression analysis, right? So we have all the quantitative research. So quantitative means number. The number alone actually don't give you much information, right? The information you want is usually you'll see the relationship between something with something, and that number or the data you collect actually you can generate or know the relationship or analyze the data, right? Then you have certain analysis lah. If you do secondary data, right, you can have three type of analysis actually. One is time series analysis, one is cross-section analysis, right? Another is panel data analysis. But you collect usually secondary data, most likely people will collect time series or panel data lah. Unless like one of my colleagues always do this happiness index, then usually they can just do 1 year and 1 year. So in this case, 1 year, many country, then in this case, cross section, right? So selecting time series and selecting panel data, which one is the correct one? No wrong or no right one, right? Depend on what you want. You just want to focus on one country. Let's say you want to do only on Malaysia. Then Malaysia is just one country. Then in this case, you have to select time series. You want to do on United States, then United States, one country use time series. So you want to do on many country, many years, then it's better. There are some good or bad things, right? If time series, you have to go through different procedure, panel go through different procedure. Notice that if you do time series, let's say you choose one country, you choose Malaysia, then you have to justify why you want to do Malaysia out of so many countries in this world, right? Cannot say that because I'm Malaysian, then I do Malaysia lah, right? So sometimes you have to justify, or why you want to do Singapore, why you want to do France, right? Or why you do Argentina? Cannot say that because they won the World Cup this year, so everything also I do Argentina, right? So you have to do some justification, right? But usually it's okay on that. That's a justification. One thing I noticed after I published some paper, those paper that do time series focus on only one country, you get more citation. I don't know why. Maybe if let's say I do panel data, I search one panel data that exactly or very, very similar to my one, and if I cite it, I mean, don't have much value added, right? So some maybe might want to avoid this one and say, oh, they better just cite a time series so that you see got people do the same thing, but time series, but my one is do panel data, right? Something like that. But panel data, in this case, sometimes they go through less stringent procedure. Later we'll see time series will make more stringent econometric procedure. We won't go cover the econometric procedure here so much, right? But of course, you can take a course and then you can Google and then a lot of Google and YouTube or ChatGPT maybe go have, right? Then parametric and non-parametric tests. This one is important because you involve the normality problem. Sometimes your data or your residual distribution is not normal. That means it's not nicely distributed, right? Nowadays, all the university want to make sure all the graphs are normal bell curve, but in practical, this may not always be the case. So if your data or residue is not normally distributed, you cannot use some of the method that assume normality. Some method like normal OLS, right? That you use the Z score, the T test, and then the Z test, right? The T test thing, right? Anything that the T test, if you use the T test, that means you assume your data is normal. Then in this case, you have to go through the normality test and you test, and then it shows that yes, there is no normality problem. Then you only can use the normal as normality assumption test like T test. If your data is not normal, then you cannot. You have to use non-normal or non-parametric test, right? Like chi-square test. Right? Then of course later on you have to do diagnosis test and robustness check. Right? What do you mean diagnosis test? Right. You run already a normal regression, let's say ordinary least square, right? Then you go and test. Then you notice that your regression result or your whole regression process, you got problem, right? You may have heteroscedasticity problem, normality problem, multi-collinearity problem, or macam-macam other problem, right? Therefore, if this is the case, then if you have so many problems, or even though you have one problem, let's say you have normality problem, or you have heteroscedasticity problem, therefore, can we trust the result of this OLS or this regression if you have some problem? No, right? Therefore, this problem need to be tested out or diagnosed, and then we have remedies, right? So if you have that heteroscedasticity problem, maybe you have used a robust cluster, you have normality problem, you use other method that do not assume normality or do not need to have a normality. So you have to do some adjustment or use different method, right? Okay, so diagnosis is just like you go to the doctor, you go and have a blood test, right? Oh, your cholesterol is very high. Then in this case, you cannot eat so much oily food, right? So if you have you have something like that. So if you have a heterogeneity problem, then you cannot use certain method. You have a normality problem, you have to change certain method, right? This is the case. How about robustness check? What do you mean robustness check? Robustness mean robust mean something like consistent in whatever situation, right? I always like to use this example. Let's say you're still dating, you bring a boyfriend or bring a girlfriend, your boyfriend or girlfriend will treat you very well. Oh, you're so nicely, so gentle, right? That one is during good time, right? Or you have a friend, yeah, a friend will actually treat you very well, so respect you, right? Always play with you, but that one is in good time. But if in bad time, right? So maybe you bad time, then your friend will treat you well or not. Right? In this case, if your friend didn't treat you well when you are poor, your friend only treat you well when you are rich, that means this friendship is not robust. Right? So it depends on the situation. Right? So econometric also the same. So did your regression result can stand this different situation test or not? Under different situation, like you change a bit, right? Change something, then your result will completely change. In this case, it's not robust, right? So by anyhow, also you have to test the robustness. For example, you just add on a one or add on another two, right? Some people they use different method to test the robustness to see whether you still get back the same result. But I don't agree on this one because different method will give you different thing. But I would say that you just likely change the variable, right? Or change a different proxy, then you see whether it's okay or not. So robustness in this case also is ambiguous, but the whole purpose is your result, right? Will it be still the same if something change, right? So, like for example, will your friends still treat you so well, so friendly? If now you from rich you become poor, maybe your friend just don't want to see your face, even though you are poor already, because you won't have any good thing for them. So in this case, the friendship is not robust. Same like the econometric. Under different situation, right? Is the result still consistent? Consistent do not mean exactly the same, right? Maybe you get where this coefficient is positive. Under different situation, also still positive, right? Not like one positive, one negative, one not significant. So you have to do a robustness check. Okay. Wow, so good. Okay, now we see this appendix. I share screen, right? So in this case, you still can see the PDF file. Can okay. If you do time series, you'll be a little bit different. I would say that you're a bit complicated because not all the method can be used, is suitable. You cannot just take the data, say for one country, for Malaysia, then for the variable that you need, you arrange the data nicely, and then, okay, I like to run VAR, then I run VAR lah. I like to run VECM, then I run VECM lah. So cannot, you have to test first. You have to test the unit root test. Why? Because you know test in simple language mean test whether your data is random or not. Your data is random, that means you cannot analyze it. Even though you analyze it, it's just your luck. For example, right? Let's say I just simply choose a number, right? Right. So in this, if I simply choose one number, then it's a random number, right? Can you analyze what's the number come next? Let's say I got 1 to 1,000. I just simply put it in the ball and then choose one. Can you analyze what is the next number after I get the first number? Cannot, because it's random. Even though you come with the analysis, a result, and you get significant, also cannot if it's random. So you have to test this, test, make sure the number are not random, right? So yeah, this so-called stationary, right? What I0 mean integration of 0, that means stationary at level form. At level form mean at it is, right? Let's say you get what the data, just now I show you the data, at it is, you test, it is all stationary, and it's all not random, then good. You can analyze the set of number. But it's very rare lah, right? You got, let's say 5 or 6 variable in secondary data. It's very rare that you got everything not random or stationary at level form. right? You usually get something, some are not stationary level form, but most of them is stationary in level 1, right? Level 1 means you differentiate one time, everything stationary, everything okay, right? So I1, but bear in mind that if sometimes you have some stationary 0 and 1, some are not stationary 0, all are 1, then you have to do a co-integration test. Of course, there are many methods of co-integration test, JJ co-integration test or whatever co-integration test. You test, and then yes, co-integration test mean what? Then you can use ECM on level form. This one we don't go through in detail lah. Just to show you that if you choose to do time series analysis, you have to go through, you have to check all this procedure. That means even though they are not, they are random individually at level form, but you use 5 variables together to test the relationship, they are some form of togetherness. That means these 5 variables, they also go together. They go together even though individually they are random. So they are co-integrated. If they are co-integrated, then yes, you can use a error correction model, right? When you do error correction model or VCR, you usually use variant. You also continue with variant decomposition and impulse response function. Okay. If there is a mixture, then some are saturated at 0, some are 1, right? Then you use ARDL, or you just can use ARDL for anything. Usually, ARDL is very good for 2 things. One is you have a very small amount of data. I mean, your year is not enough. How many years is enough? Rule of thumb usually is 30 years. But sometimes you don't get 30 years that much, or sometimes you don't wish to have 30 years that much because 30 years is too long. Many things happen in 30 years, then you will have structural break, right? So maybe you just take 10 years. So 10 years is not statistically enough here. So therefore, usually you use ARDL for small sample. And another good thing is ARDL means auto-regressive distribution lag. They got lag, right? Lag in that means you also take into consideration the effect of previous year. For example, you want to do inflation, right? You notice that last year inflation actually impact this year inflation. It cannot be last year is a very high inflation, then suddenly this year become negative or really low disinflation, then another year become very high inflation. That means you won't go that erratic, right? So you will have some, I mean, past event rules have some impact on current event. So in this case, it's best to use the ARDL method or non-linear ARDL method. So what method you use, right? You mean, in other words, mean it's not a chincai or whatever I like, right? You have to choose according to the nature of your data, which stationary, and then the nature of your research. You want to do you want to have the previous event got impact on your current event or not. So you have to determine, right? Or you want to do a co-integration test or whatever, right? Or you stock market, you just want to do whether it's a random walk theory or not, then you just do a immuno test will be enough. Okay? Then of course, parametric and non-parametric test, you know that parametric means you assume normality. So usually you have t-test or z-test. Whatever test result that you can see t or z test statistic, right? I mean, they assume it's random. This t-test and z-test, you have if you use a manual one, last time when I studied the time, we use a buku Civil, the manual one, then the number they give inside there actually they generate the number based on assumption of normality, right? If the data or residue is not normal, that means the number that you can get, the t-test value that you or z-test value you can get is wrong, right? So you have to use non-parametric test. Mostly, the most popular will be chi-square. So whenever you see the chi-square like got an x, right? There, that one is a chi-square. That one is not normal. So you have actually you have more flexible. You have chi-square test. Okay? Then of course there are many other methods also we'll go through in detail, like multivariate method. So here, if you think that your regression or your nature of the research objective is a lot of relationship, right? if you download the partially structured equation modeling, you see that the relationship of A to factor B, factor A to factor E, B to E, then E to F. So you have a lot of relationship. Then it's good to use structured equation modeling. Structured equation modeling, for me, I use the smart PLS. Okay, that one will be on your last section. You'll do the training on the last section first, just for introduction, because you need, if you want to learn the whole package, then you need a lot of time. Okay. Okay. Then, of course, nowadays, online Google already has been our best friend for many years, right? So, and YouTube as well, like Google, YouTube. Now you only add one more extra friend called ChatGPT or other AI tools, right? So here I list down some of one of the link each that you want to learn secondary data regression analysis, then you go to this YouTube. You want to do prime data structured equation modeling using partially square, you go to this YouTube. There's also qualitative analysis also, if you are interested, right? Then you can watch the YouTube. At least you can get a general idea on how to do it, right? Of course, you want to go for more detail, right? You want to study quantile regression, you just Google quantile regression or YouTube quantile regression, then they will show you step by step as well. Okay? Any questions so far? Any questions so far? Oh, okay, we continue for a while. Then we have a break. Okay. Oh, diagnosis test. We don't cover here diagnosis test, right? Later on, maybe we can show a diagnosis test. Maybe I can show the table. Wait, we go through. They go through the whole thing first, Okay. Then selecting the multivariate method. Then establish the signal level, sample size. Here sometimes you have to be careful. In some software like SPSS, Smart PLS, or some other thing. If you use data nowadays, you don't need to establish a significant level. If you use secondary data analysis, use data or use eView. eView, I think you use data, you don't need, because you run out, you have to see, you can see the p value, right? Previously, we have to fix a significant value. Like let's say significant value usually have three: 1%, 5%, and 10%. Right? 1% mean you are very strict. We just do explain in a very layman term. If let's say you want to do an experiment, right? Then you think that you can accept this experiment is not so perfect. Maybe 10% not so perfect. Then in this case, if your experiment come out 9% not perfect, then you still accept it's significant, because you set the significant level at 10%. So your p-value less than 0.10 is considered as significant. If you are more like you are more perfectionist, you think 10% is too much, I only can tolerate 5% not perfect, right? So if your experiment come out or your regression come out 5% not so perfect, let's say 4% or 3%, then you consider is significant. So the p-value less than 0.05, for example 0.41, 0.331, 0.3245, 0.2345, then you consider as significant. Or you may be more perfectionist, you say all this I cannot accept. I only accept maximum 1% error. So significant value is 1%. So if your p-value, you must start from 0.0 something, 0.09, then only is significant. If 0.12 is not significant. If exactly 0.1, usually I will take it as significant, right? Exactly 0.1, right? So in this case, now, if it's not significant, mean what? If not significant, mean zero, nothing, right? Just like you walk on the street, you suddenly see 100 ringgit on the floor, you pick up, you're so happy because 100 ringgit is very significant to you. But maybe Bill Gates or the most the richest person in the world, you walk in the street and walk in Malaysia street and see RM 100, for them is not significant. they every second they earn 100 ringgit in on the floor, not significant. Not significant mean for them this 100 ringgit is equal to 0 ringgit. So if not significant, mean 0. Okay, so sample size affect the result, and then you start for model parsimony. That means you try to have a small model, but ensure that you include the relevant variable. Because otherwise, you have an under specification, as I mentioned in last section. If you have, let's say, determinant of growth, you have variable A, B, C, D, right? E, let's say A, B, C, D, E is important. If you didn't put in the E, the impact of E to your GDP will go to error term. And when you go to error term, your T statistic or your test statistic will not be accurate. So your whole result will be in doubt, right? People will question your result. So it's better for over specification than under specification, but it's preferable to don't have a big model lah. Okay? Any questions so far?
Dr. Hai, I have
Yeah.
a question there in the chat there. Can you refer to the chat?
Wait I open the chat Oh yeah. Are there any formal step method to follow filter out the outlier in the quantitative research question A for prime data? Are we identifying the removing the response construct in question A? Yes. If you do a partially square, right? You notice in the last section we do you notice that the loading factor is not significant. That means this indicates something wrong somewhere. So you can check back the particular, like I mentioned just now. Let's say I share back that one. You have a lot of factor, right? So A1 coding here. Right? This one for factor A, you have question A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, right? If this question A2 factor loading is very, very low, so you may suspect that something wrong somewhere here. Usually we just delete the whole question. That means in this case, we assume we have only A1, A3, A4, A5. So this something wrong somewhere here could be due to outlier, right? Then you can check back your question and see whether you got outlier or not. Instead, in secondary data, we have this so-called Cook method. I forgot the exact name. Cook method. You can type some comment. They will list out the outlier statistically the outlier inside your data, and then you delete. Or you can do a trimming. Right? You can trim the top 5% and the bottom 5%, right? So in this case, you trim the right, or top 1% and bottom 1%. So maybe your data is, let's say 5, 5, 6, 5, 6, 5, 6, 5, 6, 10, and 1. So if you trim out, let's say 1%, so the 10 will be out, the 1 will be out. So you only left 5, 6, 5, 6, 4, 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 6, 7, not 10, right? And then 5, 6, 7, then another 10, 100, and 10, 0.1. So the 0.1 and 110 and 1, you will trim out if you have trimmed out the 1% before and after. Or you use the one, I never forgot the name of the Cook, something like COOK. You have a method to identify the outlier. Right? You got 2 questions, same, right? So, is there any other question? No. Sometimes you do secondary data. Data there you can type as summary. You enter. You can give you the whole descriptive statistic, right? Maximum, minimum, and average. Sometimes you see the maximum and minimum are too large. Let's say your average is 5, your maximum is 100, your minimum is 1, right? So in this case, you can see something wrong somewhere, then you have go back and see, manually check back the data, see what is where is the outlier, then you have delete it. Okay. Okay. Then maybe before we have a break, or maybe we have a break first, right? Now 10:56. Maybe we have a 5-minute or 10-minute break. We come back at 11:05. Okay. I type here. We have about a 10-minute break. Then we come back at 11:05. Okay. Then we continue. Okay. So, continue later. See you later. We have a break first. We have a break for a while. Okay. Bye. See you later. Hello, everybody back. Shall we continue? Okay, everybody back, we continue from just now. I think I share the screen. Can hear, okay? Can we continue? You see the arrangement of a result. Okay, can we continue? Hello, hello.
Yes, can
Okay.
continue.
So you see, descriptive statistic. I think I make it bigger lah. Right? Sometimes, sometimes the journal require you to put the title on the top. Some that require you to put on the bottom, right? Some that give you allow you to do note, some don't allow you to do note. What I want to highlight here is you try to group everything into one table if possible, right? You don't put mean and standard deviation one table, maximum, minimum, and other as one table, right? It's possible you put everything in one table, right? So like that, right? You can arrange that. You do a full sample, they will bring. Sometimes I see that you put a full sample mean standard deviation is one table, and then developed country one table, developing country one table. So in this case, you have table 1A, 1B, 1C, too many table, it not so appropriate. And you notice here, actually the more formal one in many journal and many university also, they only allow horizontal line. See here, don't have vertical line, don't have a straight line like that, don't have a vertical line here like that. Okay, only horizontal line, no vertical line. Okay. See, no vertical line, only horizontal line. But depends lah. Some journal they allow, some they don't allow. Right? So the result is better to put everything in one. Sometimes this one a smaller a bit is okay. So you see the 3-star here, 2-star here. This is standard reporting. 3-star mean better, right? Significant. 3-star means significant at 1%. 1% is the best. It's just like I can assure you that let's say you consume my product, then you only 1% you'll get sick, have a problem. Then another person sell you the same product, say 5% you'll get sick. Some say 10%. I mean every 10 times, 100 times you consume, every 10 times you consume, you may get one time stomach pain, right? So in this case, 1% is better, right? So just like more star for a better one, just like 5-star hotel is better than 4-star and 3-star, right? So in this case, have 3-star only lah, right? 3-star at 1%, right? All this 1%, right? And then you see some no star. Where anything at no star? Let's say for example this one 0.002 don't have any star, right? Okay, this one 0.03 you have 3-star. That means this 0.003 is 0.003, right? If this one 0.02 no star, that means this 0.02 is actually equivalent to 0. Like I mentioned just now, you found 100 ringgit on the street, you're so happy because 100 ringgit for us maybe is very important, but for Bill Gates or other who is the now most richest person in the world, they see 100 ringgit on the street also, for them is nothing lah, right? It's 0. So this one is assumed it's 0. So if not significant, no star means 0. If this one 1-star, that means significant at 10%. Okay. If you are very particular, then this one is considered non-significant. Current practice is we don't choose. Last time we fix. If we fix, then you fix at 5%. If we don't choose, we just report that, oh, this one is significant at 5%, this one is significant at 10%. We just report either 1, 5, or 10. But if you use SPSS or use partial least square, you have to fix it, right? So you fix the thing. So when you come out, either significant or not significant, they give you star or not give you star, is actually you already fix 5% or 1% or 10%. So in some software, you need to fix it. In some software also, you need to fix 1 tail or 2 tail. You run partial least square, you see they ask you to choose. SPSO, they have you to choose 1 tail or 2 tail. Usually you use 2 tail. For example, you say FDI will relationship, because in your objective you say relationship between FDI and growth. For example, relationship between factor Y and factor X. You don't say that hypothesis is FDI positively affect growth. You say FDI positively affect growth, that means you want only the positive side. If negative side, that means consider not correct. You say FDI and growth relationship, positive and negative also significant. Only zero is not significant. Okay, so one tail test or two tail test, then sometimes you have to set. Okay, like so this is how you arrange the table. You try to arrange everything in one table, right? Better less table is better than more table. Okay? Like for quantile regression, you want to present it in graphical way, right? Then you have to fix. You have to fix either 1%, 2%, or 5%, or 3%, right? So all this black shaded color here is what you fix. In this case, you fix 5%, then you give you 5%, right? So some you have to fix, some you don't need to fix. Okay? But everything you present in nice table form, right? Wait, then wait, this one. Here, also the same. You present, you see, most of them are no, what's called that, vertical line, right? You think common practice is don't have vertical line lah. Some journal allow, but if allow also, if you don't put also, they won't penalize you. So you see all put in the same, right? Finding for model one. This one is quantile regression. It's slightly different. Quantile regression, they have less diagnostic test, right? So, but here, I want to show you is robustness check. For this robustness check, I only add the status. You see, here got status, right? On top here, don't have status. So you add the status. Will this all be the same? I mean, this one is significant negative. Will it other the original model is positive and significant? If like that, then it's not robust, right? If this one is not significant, you add the constant also the same not significant, then it's okay. If this one is positive and significant, the original model is also positive and significant, that is robust. Don't care about the number. Here is 0.1460. Maybe the original model is 0.1111. It's still okay, right? As long as it's positive, right? It's consistent. So in this case, it's considered as robust. Okay. So then because I mentioned to you, quantile regression by nature, you require less diagnosis test. So you still test a multi-correlationality, right? Then you put inside like that. So there are some diagnosis tests, and then how do you arrange in a table form? Try to arrange in a one shot. Try to minimize the use of table lah. Okay. Any questions so far? Okay, then we continue. Before we go to next section on the panel data regression and then the smart equation modeling. Go to model 8, writing thesis or writing a paper, right? Until now, this one shouldn't be a problem if we continue like that, right? So this model focus on writing a thesis or writing an academic paper for journal publication, right? Sometimes we cover essential convention, guideline, common avoidance, typical outline, and then practical guide. Sometimes we write a paper, right? We get rejected, right? For me, I'll be very practical. I will try to see the quality of my paper, right? And then we choose. If I think this paper is not so much, right? Quality. How do you mean quality? It means a very good quality paper, like you have a very, very good research problem, right? Then you have a comprehensive data analysis, like you analyze a lot of year, a lot of things. Then you use the correct or maybe sometimes slightly complicated econometric modeling, not just a simple one. But remember, you must get the research issue, research problem, all these things correct. Only then you the method come in. Okay? Because the method come in also have to tally back with what you want and how is the nature of your data. So you think my paper is very quality, then I'll try to go for higher ranking journal. And if my paper you think is just average, then I'll try to go for lower ranking journals. Depend on your institutional requirements. Some university, they don't accept non-scopus or non-ISI journal. So it's up to you lah, whether you want to send to those non-scopus or non-ISI. But if you are a beginner, you just try first. You try to send for maybe a scopus tier 4, or you try to send to my site. I mean, Malaysian local journal, right? Acceptable by the government, right? You try to send first. You try to have a few of it, because you try to send to some better one. If a better one, they will have a good reviewer. They will ask you some good question. Then you will see, oh yeah, this one I haven't think of before. Then you can improve from that. You take the reviewer question constructively as like additional lesson that you can learn, or additional room for improvement that you can do. Oh yeah, I didn't do the robustness check. The reviewer asked me to do, or suggest me to do. So next time in your next paper, you know what is this common error or common thing that you have missed out. So you get a room for improvement. So you send to some of these first, right? you can improve, or you can straight away send to a good one. Also can, up to our choice lah. Okay. Now, here we cover all these four. So convention of writing academic paper. Hey, why cannot? So it's follow when you write academic paper. It's very structured. As I say, quantitative research is a scientific research. Is structured. That means it's not like simply whatever you want to talk, then you talk, right? So structured means follow the format, right? You have chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4 for a thesis, or you have introduction, research review, methodology, finding and conclusion, finding and then conclusion, what you should write in your methodology, or even some are very, very, very structured. Some journal very structured. Even in your abstract, it's a guided abstract. In an abstract, you should follow. You should have cover this aspect: issue, method, finding, contribution. So they are really, really very structured. Even though abstract also is a guided abstract, so you have to follow lah. Because if you want to publish on their journal, you have to follow their rules. Otherwise, you don't publish, you choose another one, right? No, from title, abstract. Some are title have to limited you on how many words, right? Some master thesis or PhD thesis, you just propose a title. Sometimes your examiner also asks you, say, your title is not suitable, we propose another one, and then you just accept and change lah. Then abstract, content, referencing style. This one is the most headache one. If you send to one journal, you have to tailor, customize your referencing style to the journal style. If your thesis or PhD thesis or master thesis is okay lah, because since the day one until you graduate, you also follow your university style, so you will need to change. You only change to one style. If you submit paper, let's say you use the APA format referencing, you try to submit the APA, then later on you get rejected, right? Then you find another new journal. A new journal want Chicago style. Then you have to reformat. Then another journal you rejected again. You try to find another journal. Unfortunately, that journal use a different style again, and you have to reformat your referencing style. So all your old paper you didn't get rejected, your old format, you better retain, because some referencing style they need a lot more requirement, like DOI, whatever, the full name, author full name, right? Not like w.m, you have to put whole name Hao, so you don't the whole paper, all this thing, you keep your format, so that next time you need to change the referencing style for different journal submission. It's a bit easier, but still a lot of work to do lah. Change referencing style is not easy, but I heard that they got some software that you can automatically help you to change just by one click. If you know, then it's good lah. If you then you use it, right? So far I don't know lah. Maybe I learn next time. Okay. I will still use back the old style manually do one. Person voice, right? If you do a qualitative report, you usually use first person. You use quantitative report, you usually use third person, right? They let's say A and B claim that, right? Active voice. Some prefer active voice. Of course, your choice lah. Some prefer passive voice. Tense, right? Report methodology, use past tense because already passed, right? Research review in past tense, or sometimes they accept in present tense, right? But be consistent lah. If you use present tense, then the whole throughout the literature review use present tense, right? Introduction in present tense, recommendation in future tense, right? All these are the common thing that you have to take notes, right? Especially the structure and format. Follow the institution. If you are thesis, follow your university. If you want to write to the journal, follow the journal format. Otherwise, you get desktop reject. Not that because your paper is not good quality, but because your format do not follow them, they reject you, ask you to review the format, then only resubmit, and then only they reconsider. Otherwise, straight away, bye-bye, right? Or of course, some journal, they just ask you free flow format, you can just submit. But usually those who say any format also can, they will help you to do. That one you have to pay a very high article processing fees because they do work for you. Okay. Then some of the avoidance here, because I have been supervisor for teaching for 19 years, supervised many thesis, right? Master, PhD, and mostly his degree, right? I see some of the problem, some of the common avoidance you should avoid is overconfident and certainty statement. Some, like you tell them this one is not correct, right? Some I propose a very good data, very good research idea, research problem, but I tell them you continue to do this topic, you cannot graduate. Why? Because I don't think you can find the data. Then, or if you can find, also you need to pay a lot of money to buy. It's not worth. You just want to do a degree, you want to pay 100,000 to buy the data for the degree, man, right? Then they don't believe, and at the end, they cannot find the data. Right? Sometimes overconfident. Sometimes primary data research, they say, I want to do a perception on a CO in Malaysia. CO? I don't think the CO got time to let you interview, right? Or you send the survey for them, they may entertain you and then throw to the cloud and then you just simply fill out, right? I don't think the CO got time. You want to interview all the CO in Malaysia, I don't think you can graduate. So sometimes you don't overconfident. Some they propose a very difficult. Me originally also, when I do my PhD, I tried to do something very good because I thought it's PhD, right? But remember, we don't aim for Nobel Prize unless we aim for Nobel Prize. Sometimes you have to be practical a bit, right? Right. Then certainty statement. Some of the words, right? Like after a literature review search, I confirm, guarantee nobody done something that's similar. Confirm, must, sure, all this very certain one may be preferable not to mention. You just mention that they are hardly any they don't have much research. Then it's okay. Okay, so some study right. For example,
pay this account.
This one must be like that. No, cannot. You say that coffee is very is sure good for your health. No, you will just say that coffee probably might be beneficial to your health. So you try to tone down those certainty statement, right? You must drink coffee. Then you don't say you must drink coffee. I advise you to drink coffee. So will be more nicer, right? Because you say you must drink coffee, that means something is guarantee or certainty, then better don't use. Some fancy and flowery word, preferable not to use because we are not writing a poetry, right? But sometime in introduction, sometimes you may want to do a little bit, but not overuse, right? A little bit is okay. But the whole paper or your whole thesis is actually an academic writing. It's not a poetry. It's not like a novel, right? So overly fancy or overly flowery is not good. Right? Then discussion, conclusion, recommendation, not based on objective and finding. This one is one of the very common thing. Let's say you want to do determinant of growth, right? GDP growth. So your variable is foreign direct investment and export, right? So you notice that let's say it's positive, the foreign direct say positive, export is so positive. So by right, you should something linked to foreign direct investment is positive, then can impact the growth. You have some policy that improves the foreign direct investment, then you can improve the growth and it's okay. Right? But suddenly you come out to like you must have some technology improvement, you will have education. Then you thought something like completely not relevant, right? Not under your finding. And suddenly you say, you must improve the enrollment in the school, or you link, even though you can link, let's say for example, you must improve the health in the school, have less pollution, include the environment enrollment in the school so that we can have more human capital. We have more human capital, and then only you will provide better workforce. And when you provide better workforce, then you encourage foreign direct investment. Even though you still have a bit of link, but not really so direct, right? Or sometimes I will say that, but sometimes foreign direct investment come in, even though you help Malaysia economic growth, but you create a lot of pollution, but your whole thesis never focus on pollution. You create a lot of environment damage, and then this foreign firm will come up with a different culture which is not suitable for Malaysia. So your whole thesis actually are not relevant. Your objective is not to see the impact of foreign direct investment to Malaysia environment or to Malaysia cultural, right? So you are all focused back on the objective and the findings, right? Conclusion, all these things, right? So that one is sometimes you most of the time you notice that if you have student supervision that you have noticed, or sometimes myself or ourselves we do, then sometimes when we write our own paper over and twisted already, then we have right already. So that's why recommendation conclusion. Sometimes you better let your colleague to read your recommendation, right? You explain to them your finding, you do a recommendation. So what do they say, right? They will say, you mentioned this one actually from top until bottom. I read, then I never see anything about pollution. But why suddenly you say about pollution? Then something wrong. Okay. Another one would be do not follow the journal or thesis format, word limit, right, or scope. This one is more on submission and reject or acceptance. Sometimes we do write a paper. Let's say we write a paper on chemistry, right? On chemistry, something on chemistry. You send to economic journal, you get rejected, right? Or you write something on, let's say, foreign direct investment, growth, export. You send to a journal that on sustainable development. So when I send to journal on sustainable development, they need to see the keyword. Your keyword don't have even a single word on sustainability. Even though your content, you go and search your content, you don't even have a word sustainable or sustainability. But you send to a journal that are focused on sustainability. So therefore, straight away, not the same the scope. They don't even need to read your paper, regardless of how good your paper is, but they cannot accept because their scope is different from your paper scope. So when you send to journal, you have to take care of the scope. What I was teach is your journal paper sure got a lot of reference, right? You try to see or you try to list out what is the main reference for the paper. Maybe you have 50 reference or 70 reference or 30 reference, or how many reference you have. Maybe 4 or 5 article is very important, right, to you for your paper. So these 4 or 5 reference start from which journal? If this 4 or 5 paper is very important to you, very related to your paper, then the journal that they publish will actually match your scope. Most likely match your scope. Okay? So then you can target of this journal. Maybe this journal are all very, very high ranking WSQ1 journal, then you have to, maybe you think you submit that one, highly likely 90% is rejected. Maybe your journal is only up to you think it's Scopus level 2 or Scopus level 3, then you try to find again which journal inside your reference list, right, match what you want and match the scope, right? Sometimes it's also good. Sometimes also you have to pandai a bit. Let's say we want to send to ABC journal, right? Do you think the ABC journal match your scope, match everything, match the quality of your paper and the acceptance, right? Everything is good. Some paper, some journal, they require a very high article for say fields that you may don't like, you want to see, or everything is nice, right? Then it's good that you go and find a relevant article from the ABC journal and you cite it and put under your reference. Don't put too much lah. You cannot put like 5 or 6. Then in this case, they also won't allow, they also won't accept because they may be accused of self-plagiarism. The journal may be accused of self-plagiarism. So you cite 1 or 2 of their journal inside your paper. So you amend your literature, you amend everything, you put 1 or 2 inside, right? If 1 or 2 paper from the ABC journal also you cannot find that is relevant to your paper, that means the scope is not correct. Right? It cannot be this whole paper, this journal publish so many paper, maybe 1,000, you cannot find 1 or 2 that is you can cite. So something wrong somewhere, so it's better change the scope. Okay? And word limit. Some journal now digital, all are digital in digital form, they don't really care much on that word limit, but sometimes they do have about, let's say 8,000. Usually the journal article paper original research is 8,000. So if the word limit is 8,000 and you submit a 3,000 word paper to them, what is their impression? If your assignment is write a 8,000 word assignment, your students submit you a 2,000 word assignment, then you'll straight away say, why so little? Why so few pages only? Why so few words only? Something wrong somewhere, right? So or you require your students submit 8,000 words assignment, your students submit 80,000. They may also somewhere something wrong, right? So if 8,000 word limit, right, maybe you exceed a bit also is okay lah, because I say now it's digital. Digital, they usually don't mind that much, but of course they won't have one article that is 20 page and the other article or average is 5 page, one is 20 page. No, so over a lot also cannot, under a lot also don't look good, right? So try to check their word limit and then try to follow is like plus minus. Don't be too much below and too much above. Okay? Of course, the guideline, the formatting guideline, the table diagram guideline, all the other guidelines you must follow. You do a thesis, so you must follow the university guideline, the cover page from the head to toe also you must follow. Otherwise, you have to redo and redo and redo. Or in journal paper submission, they don't ask you to redo. Sometimes they just they ask you to redo. They reject you first, ask you to redo, then only you submit. Okay. Typical outline. As mentioned earlier, right? Introduction, right? Remember, introduction is very important because you will highlight your research problem. Research problem is the main engine of your paper. Right? You don't have a problem, you no need to do a research. Okay? You will not do a research on the sun's rise in the east or the south or the west or the north, because it's not a problem, it's guaranteed rise from the east, right? So then the problem, of course, must be significant, right? Significant to everyone. So you have a contribution. If you can highlight the contribution of your paper, after you do the research, you get the result, you give the conclusion, the implication. Is this important to change anything? If not important to change anything, then some high-ranking journal may not want to accept, right? That's why there's always a catch here. Sometimes you want to do something, right? You get the result. Let's say you have a very good research problem, research issue, objective, everything is very nice. You get the result. It's completely contradict with what you expected or contradict with the theory. Is this a good thing or bad thing? It's still a result, but it may be a good thing if you can explain it, because the theory say like that, and then your empirical finding prove that it's not like that. The theory got somewhere, someplace, some problem, right? Your research quantitatively prove it. But of course, you must also give more explanation on what problem that do you think it is, right? For example, a Marshall-Lerner condition, he claimed that lower exchange rate, maybe if the Malaysian ringgit depreciate, you supposedly, logically, you get higher export and lower import. So trade balance will be better. So lower the value of the ringgit, higher the trade balance. But maybe you find reverse, right? What happened? Why? Somewhere something wrong, right? Then you try to give your justification. What's wrong do you think? Maybe nowadays, there are a lot of, let's say, so-called not standardized, not homogenized product. Like even though Malaysia ringgit depreciate, you still need to buy made in US, Microsoft, iPhone, Samsung, right? All these things, right? All these are no choice. You have to buy. If you if let's say ringgit depreciate, will you replace the Microsoft team with a Malaysian team? Right? Malaysia so far don't have a Microsoft team, something like that. Do you want to replace all completely made in Malaysia? You can replace a Malaysian car with a US or Japanese car, but you cannot replace some of the. Well, I don't think some of you will also want to replace a Malaysian phone made in Malaysia by Malaysian company phone with your iPhone, right? So if this is the case, then ringgit depreciate, you still maintain the quantity, but you pay a higher price of import. Therefore, you get at the balik opposite result. So you prove that this original theory, something wrong, and you already give your opinion on what you think is wrong. Then it's a more impactful journal. So in literature review and finding and conclusion, all this is important for you to see through it, right? Of course, literature review is a standard. You follow the structure, introduction, theoretical, empirical review, and then literature gap, then conclusion. Okay? So these are some of the normal structure. But sometimes the discussion of result, some journal or some institution, they want to put it in a conclusion or in your chapter 5. Some university or some journal, they want to put it as together with your result or findings. Some, they want you to separate. Result, you just present the number, no analysis. Then finding and discussion, you see this number interpret as what? Imply what? Right? So, like for example, I give you the shadow banking article, right? You can see the number positive or negative imply that the shadow bank, the banking system are proactive or reactive to risk management, right? Either positive or negative. You can imply that whether it's an originate to distribute model they're using or retain the loan model they're using. So that is the discussion and implication, right? Some journal ask you to separate. Some say this is just one go, result and finding all put under one section, right? Or even though one section, you can also put, let's say 4.1, 4.2, 4.3, 4.4. Right? So again, follow the institutional format. Your thesis, you follow your university format, right? If you are journal, you follow the journal format. That's why try to be practical when submitting a journal, your paper to a journal. If you aim for too low, then it's a waste, right? If your paper is very quality, let's say your paper or if worth scopus tier 3, then you send for just non-scopus, non-index journal is a little bit of waste, right? But you try to scan for Web of Science tier 1, you'll get rejected forever. So try to, and when you get rejected for many times, then you have to adjust again the structure, the reference, everything. Then it's a very tedious until after some time you do a secondary data, right? Your data become obsolete, right? You already be rejected for 3 years, so your data already 3 or 4 years or 5 years are obsolete already. Then the whole paper you cannot use. So sometimes you have to be practical, right? So when you send more paper, you know which one get rejected and why they get rejected. Then you agak you know that what you want, and then how you match your own paper with the journal. Some of my practical practice here is usually when we send to American journal or British journal, right? They will comment our comment of English is bad. Even though sometimes we ask an English lecturer to help us to check the language, they still comment like that, right? So you sometimes send to this non-English speaking country the journal, right? You won't get such a problem, right? It's nicer also. Right? Or depend you send more journal, you get more experience, then you know what you should do, right? Then outline for qualitative and quantitative paper. For qualitative paper, it's actually unique. I'm not familiar with qualitative paper, even though I have some grant on qualitative research. Like I mentioned just now, we do a research on the Bai Xiao school, right? The one school got the Damansara there, right? Many school relocation got no problem. But why this particular school until a national issue? So I got a grant to try to do it. So we do it on our way and do it on the way that the grant sponsor require us to do. So it's unique and individualized, right? Not like structure in this case, but in this training, we all focus on quantitative lah, but sometimes I also cover a little bit on qualitative. Before that, so far, any question?
Dr. Ha, I have a question in the chat box there.
Okay, I try to see the question first. Wait. There's a chat box. You're still seeing the screen on the PowerPoint side, right? Okay. How do we deal with ChatGPT similar index request by a journal? Okay, this one is a very interesting question, right? For me, I didn't use the ChatGPT. I use the traditional style, right? But sometimes I was also told there are cases that they genuinely didn't use the ChatGPT, but the AI similarity index is very high, right? That one until now also don't have any solution. But what I heard also is like Turnitin, maybe they already upgrade their AI programming or things, right? Now they are better, right? They're better. Then if you don't use the ChatGPT to do it, then you don't left what they call AI footprint. They can detect more accurately. I myself go and purposely go and test it. I ask someone to purposely use the ChatGPT and turn it in, and then some article I use my own manually. I go and check. So far I see I just try to play around and test the turn it in, right? So far I see a lot of improvement. That means that if you use the turn it in, right, you test the similarity. The AI similarity is quite accurate compared to last time when it start introduced. I got a student, they feel frustrated because they say they didn't do check AI. Then I myself, because I don't use AI, so I use my own paper. I put in the AI similarity is also very high. Not right. So that time I think it's a big problem lah. But so far I see for turning in, right, they have improved a lot. This problem we don't have much. But if you really use ChatGPT to generate your paper or thesis, and it's detected as similarity, then the problem is on why you want to use ChatGPT to do it, right? Second is, if you just use the ChatGPT to help you do it, you have similarity, then same like your normal similarity law, you have to rephrase law, right? You have to rephrase and rewrite that part that is been detected by the you have AI similarity law. So the answer is like that law. First, I think the turning in now is much better. They give you a more accurate result. But second, if you really use the ChatGPT to generate your thesis or generate your paper, then all the problem is actually your own. So you have to either do it yourself or rephrase or rewrite to ensure you fulfill the AI similarity threshold. Okay, can I answer your question? Okay. Any other question? No. Can you see the PowerPoint slide? Okay. Okay, we continue. The training here is for 2 hours, 2 hours, right? Well, at the end of the day, you I hope that you start writing your paper, right? So I already give you a lot of take back like appendix, the slide also I put in after every section, right? Then one more thing here is you sometimes can learn from the well-known publisher. I see these three actually provide very good guide for everybody, right? Useful to learn from reputable publisher author service guide. They have this called author service guide. They will teach you one by one how to say what is needed in introduction. So all these three are listed. I see some of the publisher, these three are the best lah. So maybe we try one more thing, one of it here, right? I think you have to share screen, right? Wait, wait, I open first, You hold on for a while. You still see the screen? You still see the screen changing, or you still see the PowerPoint slide? See the PowerPoint slide?
Yes, PowerPoint, the
Uh,
Springer.
oh, maybe I have to share the screen. Wait, I think now you can see the hey, wait, see the PowerPoint slide. I copy and paste this one first. So you can copy and paste this one. I give you the PDF file also, I think you can copy and paste that. So you see, can you see the website? The
Yes.
Taylor and
Yes, can.
Francis. You see, there's a lot of research option guide, draft your article. How do you draft your article? You see, you get advice for writing a paper. You click here, they got a lot. You see, before start writing a paper, you body have good idea which you publish. Then structuring your article. You see, they give you a lot. Template also have, right? Writing a manuscript, formatting a paper. Then this one got way already. This one way already. You just have to click one. You have to click one by one. Right? Peer review, right? Making a submission, instruction for author. So you just draft an article enough lah. So you have a lot of way, right? So for this Springer, journal author tutorial now with interactive course. So free writing a journal manuscript. Sometimes you want to do everything. So I usually put right hand click and then open in new tab so you won't disturb this page, right? So you put a new tab. Right? So author tutorial, writing a journal manuscript, right? So you can see what they want, right? They give you an idea like a free tuition class, right? On how to prepare prior research, right? Nature of research. Some journal, you see their abstract, as I mentioned earlier, are very structured. They want you to have what inside. From there also you know how you should know how there's a guide there, right? So nature of research and there are some prepare your article, then all these things you can manage preparation, find a journal, writing resources, all these things, right? They do give you some choice, right? Or otherwise, you just Google, or I also see so many others info online, right? So 62% attempt rate compared to really average attempt rate of 28. Some of course, this one's a marketing lah. They ask you to do their editing services, right? So all this online thing you can read, right? Or sometimes you go to some journal, right? They already have a manuscript. They how to have one. Maybe I can see some. They have some manuscript template. Let's say, wait. Then you can follow also. This see, I see whether I got some template or not. I think I got some template. I show you later on. Wait. Wait already. It's okay lah. I cannot find out. Right? Okay, I can find out. Right? Some journal they give you template. I'm not sure this one they give you template or not. They got give template. Just now I saw they got give template. Wait already. Get advice. If they got give you template, then you download template. Then they'll guide you writing, structuring your article. Right? Article template is you see, download the article template instruction. So if you download this one, wait. Inside there, they got teach you, okay, introduction, you should write what, then what format, how many spacing, but spacing wise, it's just format, but sometimes the content, in this section, you should discuss your paper on what, the recommendation should be what significant, what, so they will tell you, so from this one, they will tell you what they expected. So what they expected, that means, in other words, is a guide to write a good paper because they are a good publisher, right? Their journal are very good. They are tier 1, tier 2, or something like that. So you follow them, right, and fulfill what they want. You cannot fulfill everything, right? You cannot reach their level. Also, at least you can reach half of the level. Also, very good already, right? So it's good for you to see from some of this. Okay, the appendix line still got no more, right? So, right, any questions so far?